Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with Fredrik Larsson from HammerFall to talk about Live Against the World out October 23rd. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time today to chat about this live CD/DVD. It's coming out in multiple formats. It's really going to be up to the fans to decide in which way they want to consume this album. But the first question that I have for you is, now that you haven't played on the road for a long time, do you miss it?
It's my life. I miss it a lot. The whole summer has been a torture not to be out on the big festivals. And right now we would actually have been on a big US tour, so that really sucks.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward to attending that tour. It was on my schedule of shows to attend because I saw you guys when you were here with Sabaton last year, but I was excited to see you guys back again because now I was expecting a much longer set, considering that you guys are headlining, and then this virus put a stop to everything that was on the plans.
Yeah, it really sucks. It would have been so much fun to be out on the US tour again, and as you said, on a long with a long set and doing a headline show, a proper headline show.
Considering everything that is happening, do you feel like this is perhaps the best time to release a live DVD?
Well, it's certainly not a bad time to release a DVD like this. But this was planned long before this ever happened. So it takes a lot of planning to record and film a thing like this. So there's a lot of people involved. So we had to plan this long before this COVID breakout.
So it was going to be released at this time anyways, or considering everything that is happening, the cancellation of the North American tour perhaps pushed it a little bit earlier in the schedule?
No, I think this was actually the release time we were aiming for.
Oh, perfect timing for you guys.
Yeah, perfect timing. There's a lot of bands doing live streams and stuff like that now. So it feels, for our sake, it's better to release a proper live show with real people in front, because most of the streams are not the best ones, because a band need the reaction from the fans to be on top, I think. So a couple of them haven't been the best.
Looking back at the show that you guys recorded this DVD on, is there anything that stands up in your mind in terms of a standout moment when you think back to that evening?
It was a lot of things that went through our heads before the show, but as the show started, there's always, like, you go into this mindset with doing what you always do the same night, and interact with the audience. That's the main thing. You gotta get out there and do 100%. So that's the thing with playing live, that you can't have too much thoughts on your mind, otherwise you will screw up the live show. So the songs that stood out for me that night was maybe Second to One with Battle Beast, the singer.
Yeah,
that was a really great experience. Nora.
Yeah, that was a great track. I honestly, when I was watching the DVD and the song started, I was like, oh, is she coming out? Oh, is she coming out? Like, I was so excited in my seat. I completely forgot that they were on the tour with you guys. And I didn't even remember that. So I was like, ooh, the song is coming. Is she coming out? And then when I saw her coming out and I heard her voice, I was like, oh, this is going to be a glorious performance.
Yeah, it was really a treat to be out there on the stage with her every night. When she came up, was so professional, and they really had good chemistry, Joachim and Nora, on stage, and they did this beautiful duet every night. So it was fantastic.
What a treat.
It's not that hard to play that song, but standing there and just back up everything. So it feels really good.
I thought that track is phenomenal when you hear the studio version, but when I saw you guys performing it live on this DVD, I was like, wow, it translates so good from recording it in the studio to the live performance. I felt like it was even better live than it was in the studio, because you felt the emotion and you could see the whole performance and how the crowd interacted with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, for this tour, when we decided that Battle Beast would be the opener, we thought we could give the tour a push and record this as a duet with Nora. So it turned out that it was so good that we just had to do a video for it as well. It wasn't in the plans from the beginning. So we did a video, and then we asked, do you think you would be okay to sing this on stage with us? And she said yes. So yeah, it feels fantastic.
Well, when you go on stage for a show like this that you know it's being recorded, do you feel extra nervous? Like, it's not like you can do something wrong and only the people at that night are going to find out about it. You know, like, this is being recorded. Everybody's going to see everything.
You get nervous before the show, of course, because there's so much going on, a lot of extra people rigging cameras and on stage and everywhere. But once the show starts, you kind of do your thing anyway. It's always a bit extra to have it on your mind when there's pyro on the set. So that wasn't every set on this tour, but on the big shows we had pyro. So then you get a bit extra careful. But other than that, you don't think too much about it. I guess Joakim thinks more about it because he's in front all the time and interact with the audience, and he had some lines he had to say, I guess.
Why did you guys pick this specific night, this specific venue in Germany for the live DVD? Was there a specific reason for it?
Yeah, it's a lot of things you have to consider, but this was one of the shows that were sold out really early. So, and it was a pretty big place, so it was easy for us to have the cameras around, and we could fit the whole stage set, of course. That was the main reason, of course. But so everything came together, and this was a location that the movie crew thought were good, so we just went with it.
How much differences were there, or if any at all, from the set list from this performance to the rest of the tour? Did you guys keep the same set list, or did you added a few tracks just for this one, considering you guys were recording the DVD?
No, we had the same set because we like to have consistency in what we do. Because if you play night after night a certain set list, and then all of a sudden you throw in a couple of extra songs for a live DVD, then you don't feel that it's not going smooth. So we try to do it the same every night. But it was a really long set. So after that, I think we cut a couple of songs because it was a too long set.
Yeah, 20 tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really long. Normally you get around 17 or so.
Yeah. So it was.
I'm not complaining. I mean, it was great. I'm not complaining, but I was surprised with the 20 tracks. That's why I was asking you if that was the 20 tracks that you guys played for the whole tour, because that would be really taxing on you guys playing that many songs every night.
Yeah, and that, I mean, after most of the tour, we cut down some songs because Joakim's voice was getting worse. He had some like a regular tour flu or whatever you call it in the end of the tour, and it was really hard on his voice. So yeah, we had to cut down.
By the way, I have to tell you this. I love seeing you on stage. When I saw you guys in Toronto, I was right in front of you, and then watching the DVD, I love when you do that old school back and forth. I just absolutely love it. I get mesmerized by what you're doing on stage. Are you doing that because you're really enjoying yourself, or are you doing that because it's something maybe like you grow up watching other musicians doing it, and now it's like, now it's my turn. I'm there. I can do it.
Of course, it comes from when we grew up, because that's the moves that we looked at when we were on concerts. So it hit us. So, but we don't rehearse from the beginning. It comes naturally. And then we look at each other, and if someone do something, and we just try to, yeah, okay, that's a good move for this part, and we all get together. So we try to not force it. We try to make it as natural as possible, if that's possible at all. I mean, 3 people doing the same thing.
Yeah. But you guys are super coordinated. I love it. Like I always, when I started introducing my son to metal, I used to show him like the old school moving of the guitar back and forth in the bass. So when I saw you guys here in Toronto, we were right in the front. I was like, see, this is what I grew up watching. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me feel young again when I watch you doing that on stage.
Yeah, I guess that makes us feel young on stage as well. So
It works for everybody.
that's what we grew up. Yeah, exactly.
How much work or how much thought process did you guys put in when you're putting the DVD together? Did you let the company that was filming have creative control, or were you guys part of the process of deciding how some of the shots were put together?
Yeah, I mean, we got a rough shot from the beginning. They actually did they cut the scenes as they filmed it. So that was a raw material they sent to us. And then there was a lot of back and forth because we wanted to make it look like the big stage it was. So I think it turned out really good. But from the beginning, there was a lot of small, like up close cameras.
Like close-up shots.
Yeah, close-up shots. And it was a bit too much. It would have been okay for like one song, a video, but not the whole show. Since it's such a long show, you have to have the big pictures as much as you can.
Yeah, I thought you guys did the videography is really cool because there's a lot of different angles. And for one, most of the time when there was a guitar solo, there was at least a little bit of a close-up to the hands so you could see the guitar solos up and close. So I really enjoyed that. That's where I was wondering how much input did you guys give, because that to me shows that whoever was putting it together understands what's happening on stage in order to give the fans that are watching the bigger picture, if you will.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot before we did it, before we shot it, and then there was a lot of back and forth after just to get it right. But a really talented company that we worked with, so the result is really great, I think. So
yeah, I also enjoy the opening, because in the opening you guys had a little bit of the behind the scenes, setting up everything, signing some CDs, all of that stuff that us fans not necessarily get to see when we go to the show. But it was a nice it was a nice way for you guys to kind of like, you know, pull the curtain back, if you will, and let the fans see what goes on before. Was that something that from the beginning you guys wanted to include on this DVD, or was that something that kind of got thrown in there?
I'm not sure, probably, because Oscar and Joachim, they are the masterminds behind this. So they probably had a thought of that, because they think a lot of how to present HammerFall. And this is why we did a live Blu-ray in the beginning, because we wanted to present HammerFall for the rest of the world who couldn't join the European tour, because this is the biggest production we ever had with us, the big stages and pyros and everything. So we wanted to present HammerFall how we are now, and not how people remember us from like the 2 first record or whatever. And I think I personally think HammerFall sounds better than ever. This is the best HammerFall have sounded live. And I'm not just talking about like the quality and stuff, because we didn't go in and edit that much at all on the live sound. It's better for us to have like notes that aren't fully perfect or not in time, as long as we get the energy, so the people they know they were there, they heard it, it was false. It doesn't matter if you have the energy, and you can't play perfect if you run around on the stage up and down, and you know, there's always something happen. So I think it's much better to preserve the energy.
But from a sound quality, I thought you guys did a phenomenal job. It's not like there was. I'm not a huge fan of live albums. I enjoyed the live DVD because I'm more of a visual person. But always a concern is that sometimes the sound there's an element of the sound that overshadows something else. So like either you hear a lot of guitars but you don't hear the vocals, or you hear the drums and guitars but not the vocals, or you hear the vocals but you don't hear the guitars. It happens quite a bit. I felt that with this recording, it was almost like I was listening to you guys in the studio, but you could feel like it was live. So it had a lot of quality to the sound.
Yeah, that's thanks to Pontus Norgren, our guitar player. He was editing this live sound, so he's phenomenal with that. Since he got in the band in 2008, I think, we've all been so much more concerned and knows how to sound. He's really good at that. He helped us with, we started using in-ears, and from the beginning it's like, nah, it doesn't sound right, but he was there and twisting some knobs and almost there, almost perfect. So he's that guy. He's so really good.
Yeah, you guys finally got there, and it was nice to see all of that pyro. I was like, wow, this is an indoor venue. That's a lot of pyro for an indoor venue. You normally don't necessarily get that. The stage was magnificent. You guys had this huge production for this live DVD. It's just outstanding. It really shows where the band is now.
Yeah, as I said, this is the biggest production we ever had. So when I first saw it, when we got down to rehearsal, it was like one of those moments when you think, wow, this is like the Iron Maiden stage when I was a kid, and I can be on top of that and running around and up and down, and it was fantastic. I felt like a kid again.
Yeah, it definitely had that feel. And considering, I really have to ask you this question, because you guys put a lot of thought process in the stage and the recording. So how the hell did you guys allow David to show up to play drums with the T-shirt that he had on? I don't know if you remember the T-shirt that he had on that night, but it said something like, you came here for, or welcome here for beer, or something like that.
I wish you were beer.
Yeah, I wish you were beer. Exactly. So with all that thought, the moment I saw him with that T-shirt, I was laughing my ass off at home, because the first glance I thought it was here, and then I was like, I don't think it's here. So I paused it just so I could get like a slow motion shot. I was like, it's beer. I was like, and I'm thinking, you guys went through so much work to create this magnificent DVD, and then you allow him to wear that T-shirt?
Yeah, that's so David. I mean, he loves beer. He really loves beer, and I'm sure he wish you were beer. So it fits him. I mean, he is the beer lover, absolutely, in this band. So
it's just part of his personality.
It's part of it. But on a normal stage, you don't see that much of his T-shirt. So I don't think anybody thought that much about it until we saw it, I guess.
I thought it was such a nice touch. I loved it. One of my favorite tracks on this performance, not necessarily, I mean, I love the song, but one of the reasons why it was one of my favorite tracks was Sweden Rock. And that was because of the light show that you guys did. How incredible was that? Like, to have the Swedish color flag coming out with that was just outstanding. I was floored. I was like, wow, what an incredible show. Like, it goes beyond the song, because the song is magnificent, but the light show that you guys put together, how was the response from the fans when you play that song with that kind of spectacular behind it?
Well, unfortunately, we can't see it ourselves, the light show, because we always look forward. But the reaction from We Make Sweden Rock is always good, because it's like an up-tempo party song, so to speak. And people seem to really enjoy it. So there was really good reactions from that. I haven't seen, I mean, since we don't see the light show all the time, it's kind of hard to see if they react to the song or something else. But yeah, glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, it was magnificent. I was just wondering, how does that song come across when you play in Sweden? Because when you guys played in Toronto, the crowd loved. I mean, it's such an energetic track. It's impossible for anybody not to like it and feel active to it. But how is it when you play it in Sweden?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I thought it was be kind of a. We played it at Sweden Rock Festival, and I was kind of, I hope people don't think this is like a hymn for Sweden Rock Festival or Sweden Rock Magazine, which is a big magazine in Sweden. So I thought I hope this goes well. But I think everybody understood that this is a hymn to the Swedish metal bands from way back that we grew up with. Yeah, it's we make Sweden rock. It translates really, really good in Sweden. So we get a great reaction from it.
Would you guys be okay if the Swedish hockey national team start using that song when they play?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. That would be such an honor.
I was going to say the football team, but perhaps the hockey team would have better success. So maybe it would fit them better.
Absolutely. Yeah, Swedish hockey team is, whenever we are on tour and there's big like games whenever, we always sit in the bus and watch it. At least me, Joachim, and Oscar, we're big hockey fans. We even sponsor a team from Mora here in Sweden. It's Joachim's birth city. So it says HammerFall on the rink side.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. They should really play that song when they come to the ice.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to them.
One last question for you, and that's to do with the hockey side. Considering you guys are big hockey fans, what's your favorite player all time?
Wow. I would say Peter Forsberg since he's a Swede and he's made some phenomenal career.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you, but I was kind of hoping for Mats Sundin. Since I'm in Toronto, I was kind of hoping for Mats Sundin. So
sorry,
but your answer is perfectly acceptable. Like he was great player, so perfectly acceptable. But in our hearts here in Toronto, the greatest Swedish player of all time has to be Mats Sundin.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Well, Fredrik, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck with the release on October 23rd on Napalm Records. Live Against the World, HammerFall, DVD, vinyl, CD. Guys can pick it up in any format they want. I highly recommend the DVD because it's such a nice experience, specifically now because we can't watch any shows. At least you can sit at home and watch some HammerFall.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.